We are now going to be doing the three-quarter view on the face. I want to approach it similar to what we've done in the past. Let's start with doing a contour drawing, and then we'll look at building the face from there. So contour drawing, remember, is a good way to warm up. So I'm just going to do some warm up. I'm going to give you a minute to do these contour drawings, not as long as I've given you in the past. I want you to sort of work your way through pretty quick. So let me go ahead and start up here. I'm going to start at the eyebrow and work down through his nose. He has a little bump in his nose. I wonder if he got it broken at some point in time. And you know, some of this is just not going to be quite accurate. I'm already realizing that it's probably turned a little like it shouldn't have been, but I'm not going to worry about that. So then let's find some of this mustache. Mustache on the other side, and then I can work back up along his face, find its way underneath of that hat, and down and into the rest of that. Oh, there's some nice hair running underneath of this hat. Fun stuff to play with. Work my way back up in here, find this one ear. Some interesting pieces to that ear, some hair that comes down, working my way back up into there, and then that hat. Let's see, this line of the hat comes back out, circles back around and underneath of his hair, back down his throat, work my way around, and has my minute come up yet? Probably. Let's run up here, back down into this, come into there, and his hat comes off a little outside of his head, and a little outside of his head back there. That runs across, and then I just barely lift it up. Let's see what we can do about some eyes in here pretty quick. I should have put the timer on so I knew it was only a minute. And he has eyebrows. One of these guys that we had didn't have much in the way of eyebrows, but this guy's showing some eyebrows this way. I lifted my finger up a little bit. His beard actually needs to come down here a little further. Okay, so that's probably longer than a minute. Now that I've got that and I've sort of got the feel of that under my belt, now I want to do a little bit more detailed drawing of him. And I'm going to have you guys stop and do some contoured drawings. You can also do what I would call gesture drawings. So gesture drawings can be pretty quick here. I usually start around the eyes with gesture drawings. So gesture drawings, you can lift up your pencil as many times as you want. It can work around some. But I'm just trying to get the feeling of what his face looks like. And yeah, that just about overlaps there. And that mustache is a pretty important part of him, isn't it? But it has a gesture of its own. I like that. I understand that with the pandemic, he's cut his beard off. This is a gentleman called John Hewitt. John Hewitt, okay, that comes out even a little further out here for those ears. And I love how this hair runs out of here. So when I'm doing drawings like in a cafe or somewhere like that, I usually do this style rather than the contour drawing. Sometimes find it a little bit more accurate, but I still need to be pretty loose with it so that I don't tighten up and get things that I don't want in here. And so I haven't done the head shape first. I've started with the eyes first, but for great accuracy, starting with the head shape first. Now the hat has to be slightly bigger than his head, so it's got to come out here a little bit. And same with back here. If we run a line off of the back of that neck and through where his ear is, then we'll find where the back of that hat is. And then he's against a shiny surface, so you actually see a reflection back here of it. And notice that this hat band curves upwards here. Okay, and to give him a little more of that rugged look, we've got, what do I want to say? The wrinkles. So let's come back and talk a little bit about finding the 3/4 face. And so if we go back to the egg shape, so his head is like this with a neck coming off of it. And then his face plate is way over here. So if you have the round of a face, and I made a thing on an egg and took some pictures of it, which I'm going to put in here for you. And then his eyes, yeah, they're about halfway, maybe slightly above halfway. I can't tell where his chin is. His chin, or maybe his chin is there. If his chin is there, then yeah, he's halfway. So this curve has to follow the curve of the head. So if you were to run a line through and around where those eyes are, and then the ear is back, because his head is turned, his ear is way back here somewhere. And then his nose. So then we find the contour of the eyebrow, and the nose comes down about halfway. So the nose is about here, and we can only see the one side of the nose, so, or very little. There's maybe something visible back there, but not much. So it's this point of view things. How much can you see? How much can you not see? And then his mouth is going to come off of here. And then his beard comes way down and fills in a lot of this space under that mouth. But this line that runs through the faceplate is going to be running through the mouth, so we don't see as much of the mouth on the far side as we do on the near side. And depending on how the person is situated in a picture, you might not see very much of that mouth at all. And then with the eyes, you don't see or you almost don't see the entire eye pocket right there. You only see part of it. And let's see, no, I've got that curve going the wrong way. The way he's sitting, this curve doesn't sit this way through here. It sits the other way because we're probably slightly below him. So that curve line is going to go like that through there, which means I have this ear way too high. That's why it felt really weird. So his eye comes through here. And okay, we can run that up slightly higher. And that's why all of this is crowded down in there a little too much. Okay, so his eyebrows are up here a little bit more. Nose is coming down, and nose finishes in here. This mouth is up in here. Ah, yes, this is working better. And you can see as you look at those eyes, which way they slant, how that is working. And for him, it just comes in a little bit, and then his facial hair starts coming in here, and this needs to come over here just a little bit more, working its way, and then the nose is out there. Okay. Because remember, the nose sticks outside of this line, so it's going to be beyond that line when you put it in, but the bridge of the nose is going to be on that line. And then inward on those pockets, his eyebrows. So we still have all of the same dimension features that we had when we were looking at the side view, as far as how far apart things are. But when you start getting foreshortening into places, like this eye over here is going to feel a little bit smaller because this one's closer to you. And it's maybe even a little smaller than that. His eyelids. His iris is coming in here. Eye slants down very slightly. And that comes back in. Where is this? Remember that whole thing, that you put it down, you find whether it's working, and if it isn't, you erase and correct. So there's a lot of erasure that happens with this stage of things. And then that eyebrow has to wrap that way. This one wraps. And then that's okay. And you see a double layer of skin up here, and it angles a little above there. His irises are a little on the higher side. His irises are on that higher side. Okay. His nose has the feeling of being fairly long. And we see a little bit of cheek smile line, a little bit of cheek smile line. And then the mustache comes off of here. And the mustache goes off into there. Mustache comes back this way. And then the little lips and mouth are showing in here. Okay, and his hair comes back. And so then the ear gets dropped across. Yeah, if we wrap this way, through here, his ear is right in here. And then he has hair that comes out and curls. Hair that comes out, that lovely hat that swirls and comes up through here. And then his hat has to fit outside of his head. So whatever happens with that hat, it has to be outside of that head. Okay, so we've still got the same thing halfway down, but then where is the faceplate? And then how does this, I always look for this first, the eyebrow to nose, and where does that sit and what does it look like? And then I start placing the eyes. And do the eyes slant downwards, or is the face turned down and they slant upwards? But because we're a little bit below him when the picture was taken, his eyes are slanting downward. And these pockets around the eyes are really important, especially on a face like this that's got sort of more wrinkles and that weathered look to it. And so we need to find those and put them in for that to feel like that weathered look. And then I'll take off the lines that we don't need, which are these. Okay, and then, you know, we can also be looking at triangles. We can be looking at triangles for where these relate to each other, how these triangles fit in here, how this triangle out to the ear works through there, and what the shape of that triangle is to place things properly. So I'm going to give this to you in 3 little bunches. You're going to play with the contour drawing, you're going to play with doing a gesture drawing, and then you're going to work more on really finding where in the egg shape all the parts of the face are. So I think we've got it.